guys, welcome back to my channel. It's kind of late, but I wanted to make this video because I'm over 2 months postpartum now, and I think it's an important video. I have Jax here, so I'm watching him while Jay takes a shower and I get this video made. So as you can tell from the title, I'm going to talk about my C-section recovery, which was god-awful. I'm going to talk about my postpartum depression, about Jax being in the NICU. So I had some people reach out to me saying that their babies were in the NICU and they watched our vlogs, and that kind of helped them and put them at ease. Some people that were pregnant had their babies, or someone that was in the hospital and she was looking to have her baby early as well, so it put her at ease watching our videos on our vlog channel about Jax being in the NICU and stuff. And then I'm going to talk about my milk supply and what happened with that, and home life, how things are now. So first thing would be my C-section. So if you don't know, I had preeclampsia, and at 34 weeks I went to my doctor's appointment and they checked my blood pressure. They checked my blood pressure twice, and then they told me I had to go to the ER next door. So I went to the ER, the labor and delivery next door, and they just held me until I had him pretty much at 34 weeks. So I was trying to do a natural birth, and I got to 5 centimeters and I was stuck. I was stuck for 12-ish hours at that, but they had been inducing me for a few days at that point. They had gotten blood work back and my liver was starting to shut down, so they did an emergency C-section like an hour later. So my C-section was very painful. Even when they were doing it, I had to get 2 epidurals placed. They had placed the first one and I ended up passing out, so they took that one out, and then they placed another one and that was successful. But then by the time I was going to have my C-section a few days later, it had fallen out, so they had to give me a spinal block in the OR. So I had that, but when they were stitching me back up after they had taken Jax out, I started feeling stuff, so they gave me fentanyl, and then I was loopy. And then they took me to recovery, and I was in so much pain. I was just like moaning and stuff, and then I finally got out of there, went back to labor and delivery because they had me on a magnesium drip. And yeah, so I was there for 12 hours, and then the next day I went to recovery. When I came home, I was in so much pain. Honestly, like, you have to stay up on your medication. When I was in the hospital, I kept going to see Jax in the NICU, and I was missing doses, so I'd be going back to my room in so much pain. So just stay on top of the medication. When I came home, I really didn't have much help because Jay was working half days, and then we were going to the NICU every single day until Jax came home. So I was only having, a short amount of time to just be in bed and relax, and then the other time I was just in the hospital, sitting in hospital chairs, and it was just really painful. So that was not fun. I'd say after about 2 weeks, I started feeling more like myself. I had back pain from the epidural, which lasted about 3 weeks, and then I haven't had any issues with that. I was mainly just sore, was really what was wrong. And again, sitting in the hospital chairs didn't help. And I wasn't really resting because I was going to the hospital. But what helped, nothing really helped. I guess time helped. My C-section scar looks great. Here, I'll show you guys. So my C-section scar is pretty much gone. Like, it's all healed. They did not use sutures. They used glue and some strip and put it on there, and that came off like after my 6-week appointment. That stayed on there for a really long time. But yeah, so use the Peri bottles because it hurt even wiping down there. I bled for, honestly, I'm still bleeding, not gonna lie. It's like the last bits of blood that's like really, really pale color. So I'm still kind of having that issue, but not enough to like wear a pad. It's just more annoying than anything. But I really stopped heavy bleeding at 2 weeks, and then it's just been lingering ever since, and it's really annoying. But yeah, so that's pretty much my C-section recovery. Just get rest. I didn't. My son was in the NICU, like I said, and I just want to see him every day. So if you don't have a kid in the NICU, definitely get rest. Just have the baby next to you and have everyone wait on you hand and foot. But along with that, and him being in the NICU, I got postpartum depression. From him being in the NICU, not being able to take him home, me being in so much pain, and not sleeping because I was pumping. I'll get into that after. But it got pretty bad. My husband actually had texted my mom, and was pretty much like, I don't know what to do, because I was just like, I just checked out. I just wanted to see Jax and come home and just be left alone. I didn't want to be bothered by anyone. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do anything besides going to see him and coming home, just being by myself. So it got pretty bad. I'd say around 4 weeks postpartum, it got better. Well, a little under 4 weeks, I should say, because Jax came home at a month. It got better maybe like a week out from him coming home. I don't know. I was just very sad. And everyone kept asking like when he was going to come home, and obviously we didn't have an answer. They really didn't talk about him coming home until maybe a few days before he came home. So we didn't know. And of course, like towards the end, they told us, to just tell people by his due date or around his due date would be like the earliest he'd come home. But he came home like a week before his due date. So that was hard, just like updating everybody, and I don't know, I just wanted to be alone. I didn't want to update anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone about him. I don't know, I didn't want to be bothered by anybody. So I think Jay was the one mainly updating people, but then as time went on, I got better. So yeah, that was that. The NICU was an experience. I was always scared when I got pregnant that I did not want to have a baby in the NICU. And of course, I have a baby in the NICU. They were wonderful. Our nurses were great. The doctors were great. It was just, my baby's in the NICU. It's the best place for him to be. It's the only place where he should be at that time, because he was so small and he couldn't eat on his own, and it was that he was having trouble breathing and with his heart rate, which is normal for preemies, but I think it just takes a toll on you as a parent. Like, you just have to leave them there, and I was still recovering from my C-section, so we didn't end up sleeping over there for a while. And I know some parents can't even sleep over. With Jax and in his NICU, each baby had their own room. It wasn't just a group room with every baby in it. It was individual rooms. They had 10 rooms. Each baby had their own room. We were able to stay over, but I physically could not stay over, which was killing me as well, because I was just in so much pain, and the bed that they had was so hard, it would just have caused me more pain. So I wasn't able to sleep over, so that was making me even more sad. But overall, I was very pleased with the NICU. I was very pleased with the doctors and all that. So I think, you know, if you have questions, ask. We did not like one nurse, and she didn't have Jax ever again. So if you don't like someone, obviously don't be rude because they're taking care of your child, but stick up for yourself, stick up for your child. You're the only one that can stick up for them, so definitely stick up for them, and express your concerns. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. Now, when it came to the whole time he was in there and me pumping and stuff, I was pumping as soon as as soon as he came out. They gave me a pump. The lactation consultant came down, gave me everything I needed. But the only thing is, they didn't like explain how to use the pump. They didn't explain, you know, the sizes of the flanges. Nothing. Like, I had no idea. They gave me 2 different sizes and pretty much just said, figure it out. Didn't know how to use your pump. I didn't know how long I was supposed to pump for. I didn't know, you know, I just didn't know. I ended up figuring it out, and I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours during the day, and then at night I went 1 4-hour stretch and then continued every 2 to 3 hours. And I did that the whole time he was in the NICU. My supply was amazing. I had an oversupply just because he was barely drinking 1.5 ounces even when he was leaving the NICU. So, and I was pumping about 6 ounces each pumping session. So I definitely had an oversupply for him. And yeah, I was doing great. The day he came home, I pretty much stopped pumping as often. I was maybe going 4-hour stretches here, 6-hour stretch here. Like, I just wasn't pumping because I was using all the frozen milk that I had in the fridge. And I was just like, all right, well, we'll just go through this and I'll just slowly start adding it. But my supply was dipping. As soon as he came home, I had him latch, but he was just still so small, and he just wasn't doing good with latching and staying awake, or drinking and staying awake on the boob. So they also sent us home on fortified milk. So he had formula that we had to add into his bottles, which we only did for a week. And if you have preemie babies and it works for you, do it. I don't think that the formula was agreeing with him, and I really didn't think it was needed. He had my breast milk. They kept saying that was the best thing for him, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, so we stopped. He had his 2-month appointment, and the doctor asked if we were still doing that, and I said nope. And he was like, okay. So we stopped, and he's been gaining perfectly fine ever since. So yeah, so I stopped pumping and my supply dipped. So I started getting nervous because I wanted to breastfeed him since I got pregnant. Before I got pregnant, I always wanted to breastfeed. And I was like, how am I going to breastfeed him now? Because he was taking more ounces, and I was barely able to get like 1 ounce out after a week of doing that. And then that's when I started latching him more and stuff, but I wasn't making enough for him. And I have one of my boobs, or my nipple, when I was younger I got burned. So I have burns here. I got some on my chest, so on one of my nipples it's kind of like discolored, and like the texture of my nipple is different than the other side. So it's very sensitive, more sensitive than the other side. So I was only latching him on one side, and then I was pumping on this side, and then so it just wasn't making enough for him. But then I spoke with a lactation consultant, and I also got this. It's from Legendary Milk Liquid Gold. So I did this for 7 days, and I spoke with a lactation consultant. I started eating a lot more oatmeal. I started drinking more, and I also got what is it called? Goodness. Body armor, just because I'm not really good with drinking a lot of water, and that's like really hydrating. So I got some of those and spoke with a lactation consultant. She told me to stop pumping, so I stopped pumping, and then I had him latching on both sides. Now this side was so painful. It was so painful for like 4 days, and I finally was able to latch him and not be in pain. And ever since then, he's not been on a bottle, and we've just been breastfeeding. Sorry, camera died. Yeah, so we've just been breastfeeding ever since then, and like I said, I've been taking that. I had stopped taking this, well, I had ran out, and I ordered another one. So I ended up getting this while I was waiting for that to come in. So this has fenugreek in it, and this can either tank your supply or boost your supply. It just depends on you. My supply was already damn near gone, so I just took the risk and started drinking this tea, which is what I am drinking right now. And it actually boosted my supply. So if you don't want to take that risk, I've been taking this as well, and I'm also taking this. I've heard this is really good. The Pump Princess is from the same company. I'll leave the links down below to all this stuff that I'm showing you. And I've also, since I'm not pumping anymore, I've been using the Haka a lot more. Just put it on the other side where he's not feeding, and then I usually get about 2 ounces on that, and then that's what I've been putting in the fridge. Also, to get me through the painful nipple, I used the Tux pads. I put this in the fridge and then put it on my nipple once a day. You could do it more, but I did it once a day, and then I took a nice hot shower, just because he wasn't able to feed after I put that on. Like, you have to like wipe it off. So I just ended up taking a shower, and that also stimulates your production as well, and that helped. Like I said, I did that every single day, and it helped. And also nipple butter, which my nipple butters are in the bedroom, but Jax is sleeping, so I will link those down below. It's the Earth Mama organic nipple butter. I use that after every feed as well, and that helped a lot. So that really is how I boost my supply, like I said, and I stopped pumping. So I'm just exclusively breastfeeding him, and it's going really well. But yeah, that's really all I had to say about my postpartum experience. Well, 2-month postpartum update. I'm feeling good. He's been doing really well. I'm doing really well. My 6-week postpartum visit went really well. So I'm hoping with the next baby I can have them vaginally and not have to have another C-section, because that was just awful. It really was awful. Yeah, everything's good, and we're actually moving. We are moving to Montana. If you watch our vlog channel, then you know that we are moving. We're actually moving in a little over, well, we're moving in 2 weeks. So we're gonna get there for around the 1st of July. And we're vlogging all that on our on my other channel, NJ and Filet. So we'll be vlogging all that. My husband's in the military, so we're being stationed there, and yeah, it's gonna be a whole nother adventure. But I'm gonna also make Jax's 2-month update in the next few days, and you'll get to see him. But yeah, so he's sleeping right now. He's been crazy with sleeping, but I'll get into that in the other video. But thanks for watching. Like I said, I'll link all this down below for you guys so you can check it out. Again, be careful with the fenugreek because it can tank your supply, but like I said, I was desperate, so it worked out. But thanks for watching, and yeah, bye.